But it seems like you did take Austin's advice to heart because, I mean, look at you now. You're in a position where you are essential to the team. I mean, I know people won't like to look at it that way. You probably wouldn't even like to look at it that way because you seem like a pretty humble guy in that sense, but you are a key component where without you, not saying you couldn't ever be replaced, but it would be very difficult to replace you. And with talent,
Yes.
it's a lot, not that I'm definitely not a believer that talent is, like a plumber. Like I remember there was like I think an old WCW person, maybe Jim Hurd, I don't know, I could be incorrect on that. And there was like they compared talent to being a plumber, where they're like, oh, you
That
can
sounds
just
like a
get
Jim
someone
Hurd
else.
move.
And
Yeah, and that's
obviously
not true at
that's
all. Everybody's got a
dismissive.
personality. It's
Absolutely.
very dismissive, and I always want to make sure that whenever I'm talking to people, it's very easy to get lost in your day to day and get buried with so much going on. Like right now, Joe and I are super buried, and I'll have one of our wrestlers text me a question or something, and I always try to remember like not to be dismissive because for all they know, they're not going to realize what I'm going through because nobody ever knows what anybody's going
Yeah.
through. Nobody ever knows what like moment they reach out. But if somebody sends me a message and asks me a question, I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not your problem, or like just shut them off. What happens the next time they want to talk to me? They're
Yeah.
going to remember that and they're going to think, oh, Kyle doesn't give a shit, or Kyle doesn't care about me in person, or maybe they hate me, or this, that, or the other thing. You know, you never know how your actions are going to affect somebody else because you're not paying attention in the moment about how you're coming off to somebody.
Yeah.
And you can never be 100% about that. But I always try to remember that and be like, hey, I'm really sorry. I'm busy right now. Or my apologies for keeping you waiting, or this, that. It's just, I try to think of like the damage that I have and like how that would affect me if I didn't do that. And I'm just like, well, maybe somebody will see where I'm coming from and realize that like right now I'm the problem in our communication.
And it never hurts to be nice. If more people in the world were nice to each other, I think the world would be a better place. Just throwing that out there too.
Yeah. I don't think people are inherently horrible. I think sometimes people are emotionally stunted and also ignorant to what's going on around them. And sometimes that gets the worst results. So, yeah, you're right. It's always important to take care and think of somebody else.
I'm loving this interview, and I have a bad feeling that we're not going to be able to get through the notes, which, by the way, I'm used to. I never get through the notes in my
You can
interviews.
also just rapid fire and I'll try to shut up. I talk a
No,
lot.
no,
Sorry.
I much prefer. I much rather get in the weeds and have like real answers. Because who wants to hear like yes or no questions? You know what I mean? Like I'd rather have a real discussion, like what you're doing, where you give your real genuine thoughts or philosophy on things than just just a summation. Like that's no fun. Like I love what you're doing, so I appreciate it. But I do want to ask about when you were training,